Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to my channel. I would like to continue with the shadow studies. You truly deserve to achieve your deepest desires. The only difference between you and the people you admire is their ability to embody one of the qualities you aspire to possess, which brings them closer to realizing their dreams. If you find yourself not fully utilizing your potential, it becomes natural to project your positive traits onto those who are living up to their full potential, and that is precisely what you are doing. When you begin to recognize and pursue your own aspirations and objectives, your interest in the actions of others diminishes. It is crucial for each individual to become their own hero and guide their own path towards success and fulfillment. This point is crucial. The only way to achieve this is by reclaiming the abilities we've attributed to others, those we've projected onto them. We must remove the plugs we've inserted into others and reinsert them into ourselves. Only by retrieving our projections can we realize our full potential and fully experience our true selves. When you admire greatness in another person, you are actually recognizing your own greatness. It may manifest differently in you, but without that inner greatness, you would not be able to identify and appreciate this quality in someone else, nor would you feel drawn to them. Every individual has their own unique perception of others, as we often attribute our own characteristics to them. Our responsibility is to recognize the qualities in others that motivate us and then reclaim those aspects that we have projected onto them. Deepak Chopra believes that every desire contains both the understanding and the resources to make it a reality. If we are incapable of obtaining or achieving something, then we truly do not yearn for it. It is as straightforward as that. Goethe said that if we can think about it, plan it, design it, and believe that it will happen, then we can get it. The real challenge lies in conquering our fears, as they act as barriers that hold us back. Our fears often make us doubt our worth and competency. Understand that there is no one else quite like you in the entire world. You uniquely contribute your own distinctive imprint to everything you touch. It's up to you to discover your unique qualities and then manifest them in your own unique way. Debbie Ford says, "Air is the greatest mystery to birds, water is the greatest mystery to fish, and man is the greatest mystery to himself." We can see everything in our yesterday in the outside world. All we have to do is open our eyes and look in the mirror. We cannot see ourselves. We need a mirror to see ourselves. You are my mirror, and I am your mirror. Our master mentioned in a hadith, man is the mirror of man. He implies that a person sees others as he is himself and perceives them according to his own disposition. Dear audience, I have some exercises that will benefit you. If you perform them consistently, you'll see the positive impact it has on you. First one, take 1 week to critically assess your perception of others. Whenever you find yourself irked by someone's actions, note down the specific traits that bother you most. Apply this same exercise to analyze the people who hold the closest spots in your life. Investigate the nature of human relationships by identifying the aspects that disappoint or frustrate you. Throughout the week, consistently observe your judgments towards others, and whenever someone's behavior is unsettling, document the features that perturbed you. Second one, make a list of the advice you give to others. Then think about whether these admonitions are actually admonitions you need to give to yourself. Realize that when you give advice to others, you may actually be reminding yourself of that advice. Our ego, also referred to as our false identity, emerges as a consequence of our limited understanding and knowledge. The ego remains incapable of comprehending our genuine nature and thus resembles a continuously shifting chameleon, pretending to be a deceitful self. By collaborating with the devil, it perpetuates this act of deception. If you start the process of revealing your shadow and a voice inside you screams at you to stop it, know that it is the voice of the ego that is afraid of its own death. Grant yourself the permission to expose your authentic self. Embrace the challenge of questioning your current identity in order to discover the boundless potential of who you truly can become. Utilizing others as mirrors can assist in unraveling the facade you've been wearing. Talk to your close friends and ask them about the 3 things they like and dislike most about you. Often people see more positive and attractive qualities in people than they see in themselves. At the same time, they may also notice some negative traits that we are not aware of. People shy away from this kind of feedback because they are afraid of being judged. If you are also hesitant to hear the opinions of those closest to you, you should think about it. We tend to fear feedback when we are aware, at some level, that we are being dishonest with ourselves. However, once we receive feedback from others, we can further unravel our own flaws and shortcomings. Another effective method to uncover hidden aspects of ourselves is by creating a list of 3 individuals we admire and 3 individuals we despise. The people we admire should possess qualities and traits that we wish to have ourselves. On the other hand, the people we dislike should be those who generate anger or discomfort within us. By eliminating the qualities we envy and resent, we can analyze ourselves by considering the following 3 insightful questions. Have I ever displayed this behavior before? Do I currently display this behavior? Is it possible for me to display this behavior under different circumstances? If any of these questions are answered as yes, it initiates the process of adopting a particular trait. Some traits are easier to accept and affirm. The ones you try so hard to deny or project onto someone else are the most difficult to own. Accepting these traits requires more time and effort. However, it is equally crucial to be tough on yourself as it is to be compassionate. Please be open to the realization that you may be the person or possess the qualities that you least desire. Be open to the possibility that you may have the qualities you least desire. Have a strong determination to perceive with a fresh perspective, free from the defense mechanism that dismissively claims, "That's not who I am." Look through eyes that fervently proclaim, "I am capable of being that." Should you uncover hidden facets of selfishness or jealousy within yourself, do not hastily judge and condemn yourself as a dreadful individual. Remember, these characteristics exist within all of us along with their contrasting counterparts. They are an integral part of our human nature. Whether positive or negative, our emotions and impulses serve as valuable tools for guidance and learning. You may be a skeptic, but give yourself the opportunity to recognize all these qualities and find their gift. I absolutely promise that at the end of this process, you will find gold. If you have a quality that you accept, we will always attract people in our lives who exhibit that quality. Most of us have buried these unacknowledged qualities so deeply that we cannot see that we can be like that certain type of person that we look at with disgust. If you find yourself criticizing a certain characteristic in someone else, it is because you possess that same characteristic. When you become fixated on a specific trait that you refuse to accept in yourself, Acknowledge that you are resistant and reluctant to change. By recognizing and accepting your own resistance, you can easily overcome the negative response typically triggered by certain words. Instead of harboring resentments and bitterness, we can choose to learn from them. Reflecting on past negative experiences, think about who or what may not be a part of your life if you hadn't gone through those hard times. Rather than being burdened by our wounds, let them fuel us towards fulfilling our dreams. How does holding on to our pain hinder our growth and learning? By utilizing our past wounds as lessons and opportunities for growth, we no longer have to remain victims. Consider the individual who has caused you harm and reflect on which aspects of that person you are engaging with. Once you recognize these traits within yourself, you will no longer be bound to or affected by them. Debbie Ford talks about one of her clients, a beautiful young woman with stomach cancer who participates in shadow work. This woman hated her mother for her constant mistreatment of her emotionally and physically. Even though she was in her 30s and had attended many self-improvement seminars, she could not get rid of her hostility and hatred towards her mother. Debbie instructs her seminar attendees to jot down their top 5 challenging words, but notices that the word crazy, frequently used by this woman to describe her mother, is not included. Debbie suggests that the woman consider adding the word crazy to her list. With anger, the woman insists that she is not crazy and that Debbie knows it. If we embrace everything within us, we may be considered insane as well. A woman was instructed by Debbie Ford to work with her partner. While the woman's partner appeared unaffected by the label, she herself writhed, wept, and felt endless nausea. The daunting task of proclaiming "I am crazy" proved insurmountable for her. She simply couldn't bring herself to say it. However, her partner persistently insisted, saying, "You are crazy. Just admit it and accept it." By the conclusion of the workshop, the woman finally declared, "I am crazy." This declaration marked the beginning of her challenging journey to confront childhood fears and the societal stigma attached to insanity, ultimately emerging triumphant. Full acknowledgement, possession, and relinquishment of her supposed madness were mandatory. In accepting this truth, she humbled herself and knelt down to pray. "Dear God, please grant me the ability to recognize the beauty in my mother." For the next 45 minutes, she fervently prayed, beseeching that she would no longer judge her mother or herself, and instead acknowledge that her mother was truly doing her best. Once I made my confession, I experienced a profound sense of tranquility that touched the core of my being. Previously, thoughts of my mother would make me feel anxious. Now I am constantly enveloped in serenity. Indeed, this exercise has unveiled a pathway for me, and I have courageously traversed that path. The progression of cancer has halted, gradually retreating. This woman has been liberated from the grip of cancer. The tests have revealed no indications of this ailment. By ceasing to despise her own inner struggles, she has attained the ability to forgive herself and her mother. She acknowledges that accepting the term crazy was the most arduous aspect of this transformative journey. Accepting your shadow is essential for restoring your body's equilibrium and completeness. By embracing your wholeness, you will also discover profound healing benefits. One woman who attended Debbie Ford's seminars had never raised her voice. She had refrained from shouting and swearing in her entire life. Her father firmly maintained that good people do not engage in such behavior, and that adherence to his strict rules was necessary to gain his love and respect. Consequently, she had always complied obediently. Consequently, a number of knots and lumps had formed in her throat effortlessly. Finally, she had reached the point where she was prepared to liberate her pent-up emotions. She strongly held the belief that her health issues were a direct result of suppressing her feelings. Nevertheless, she continued to encounter difficulty in expressing herself vocally. When this woman found her voice and freely expressed her words, her entire body quivered with excitement. She summoned every ounce of courage to fulfill this task. After 6 months, her condition improved drastically, and the lump in her throat entirely vanished. Overflowing with joy, she could finally communicate her true self and achieve peace with her own self and her father. In order to be a sincerely genuine individual, we must allow for the coexistence of our sincere, uncomplicated, affectionate, and accepting qualities with the aspects of ourselves that we pass judgment upon and perceive as flawed. Undoubtedly, to truly possess sincerity and authenticity, we must acknowledge and embrace the entirety of our being. By allowing both the attributes we love and accept, as well as the ones we scrutinize and deem as faults, to peacefully coexist, we can live as unpretentious and unadulterated human beings. Moreover, when we are capable of cherishing and accepting all these traits without judgment, with an abundance of love, they will naturally meld into our essence. Consequently, we can discard the facades we wear and have faith in the belief that each of us was designed divinely by a higher power. We can stand tall, wholeheartedly accepting and embracing the diverse world that resides within us. Our ego, driven only by fear, resorts to judgments to protect us. It is a protection that ironically prevents us from understanding ourselves. To truly grow, we must be open to embracing the things that we fear. It is our pain that obscures the brilliance of the world around us. It is common to see people you know, ex-lovers, ex-bosses, family members, so you may see them often. Often it will be someone with whom you don't get along well. When these familiar faces appear in your subconscious, rather than dismissing these encounters, challenge yourself to delve deeper into their symbolism. They may carry important messages that you need to unravel. While you can temporarily push them aside, ignoring the unresolved issues they represent will only lead to their recurrence in your life, time and time again. Indeed, the personalities we are least eager to encounter often have the most significant lessons to offer us. In fact, the personalities we least want to see are the ones from whom we will learn the greatest lessons. I will now provide you with additional exercises. Please take the time to practice them. Take a few minutes for yourself and relax. Take deep breaths, close your eyes, and take 5 deep breaths if you like. Imagine getting into your inner elevator and going down 7 floors. When the door opens, you are in your spiritual garden. Walk towards your seat of contemplation, looking at the beauty of your garden. After you sit there, ask yourself these questions. What are the core beliefs that govern my life? Make your list. Listen to the answers that come from deep within you. Is this really my idea, or did I take it from someone else and adopt it? Second one, why do I have this belief? Third, does this belief empower me? Fourth, how can I change this belief? Why do I have to change it? When you have answered all the questions, write them down the answers in your diary. Secondly, the second exercise. Compose a brief note expressing gratitude for the service provided by each belief on your list. Furthermore, generate a fresh belief to replace the former one, noting it down. As previously mentioned, apply the 4 purifying sentences of the Ho'oponopono. Additionally, you may recite the restorative verse and prayer of repentance simultaneously. I will now give you a third exercise. Think of a word that you have not yet fully embraced or that you do not like. Close your eyes and recall a memory from your childhood that made you find this characteristic disturbing. Now write down your thoughts about this memory, discussing 3 positive aspects and 2 negative aspects. If you are having trouble coming up with ideas, seek input from your friends or family. It is important to develop new interpretations, as this requires creativity and practice. Instead of sticking to one interpretation, explore a variety of possibilities. You would want to ignore painful thoughts, but please follow these steps to effectively engage in this process. Since we, being the reflection of all the names and attributes of Allah Almighty, have come into existence in order to display the beauty that resides within us. If we welcome the brilliance of our true essence to radiate onto us, we can embody and incorporate the same elegance and magnificence we observe in others. Retrieving our positive qualities is no easier than retrieving our negative qualities. Our lack of self-worth is a result of our unwillingness to embrace the innate talents bestowed upon us by God. It is important to express positivity in regards to our own achievements and qualities. We should cultivate a sense of gratitude for our abilities and actions. Discovering and embracing our own distinctiveness and individuality is crucial. Many people cannot own their success, happiness, health, beauty. They are afraid to see that they are strong, successful, attractive, inventive. Their fear prevents them from exploring and discovering these sides of themselves. But in order to really know ourselves, we need to embrace all our qualities, not only our dark sides, but also our good sides. I have seen in my therapies with many clients that some people cannot appreciate themselves at all. They have served in high positions, done a master's degree abroad, learned a language very well in a very short time, passed many exams and difficulties, but they still say that someone else could have done it, that it was already easy. He criticizes and smears himself a lot in every event. At the same time, these people start to generate a lot of anxiety and fear. They magnify a small incident in their minds. They write a lot of scenarios like, what if this happens, what if that happens, and they reflect this negative situation on the outside. For example, he constantly criticizes his spouse, his children, judges and blames himself, and constantly criticizes the outside world. We had agreed with him in the session that he would love and approve himself in the name of Allah, watch my videos on this subject, read books, do sports, be at peace with himself, do his dhikr, do his prayers regularly and without interruption, see at least 2 or 3 positive qualities in his wife every day, and reflect them to her, appreciate her, and tell her that he loves her. We know that if we were created idiots, imbeciles, morons, we would not be able to do anything. By the grace of Allah, we are smart and successful. We can do and learn everything with the abilities and intelligence that Allah has given us. Yes, we will always be humble. We will not take these things for granted. We will always remember the reality that we could not have done it if Allah had not given it to us. We will say, God willing, I am strong. God willing, I am smart and I can do this. I am successful and I can overcome any challenge. We will say, God willing, I trust myself and my decisions. I love and approve of myself. Children whose parents are embroiled in conflict may not receive the necessary emotional nurturing and appreciation. Such childhood experiences can profoundly affect them. We avoid praising children too much because we worry that they may become narcissistic, arrogant, and spoiled. However, saying, God willing, you are strong, you will succeed, reduces narcissism, arrogance, selfishness, the need to ingratiate oneself, to please others, and the need for appreciation and approval. Regardless of how cruel, ruthless, and unjust the people in your society may seem, it's important to recognize that they might be individuals who faced constant criticism during their childhood, were not respected, and were ostracized, pushed aside, or even verbally or physically abused. These are individuals who may wield their status and power as weapons, are driven by revenge, filled with ambition and hatred, and are unable to find happiness or satisfaction regardless of their achievements. They harbor anger, sadness, and feelings of worthlessness. It's likely that such people do not comprehend the essence of true love or what they are experiencing. They assess everything and everyone based on self-interest, assigning a price to all. They fail to recognize the true worth in themselves or in others. So we will also appreciate our positive sides, inshallah. Yes, my dear viewers, these issues are really important. Despite the discomfort, reflect upon these aspects within yourself. Achieve harmony with who you are. Embrace both your strengths and weaknesses. This self-acceptance will lead to greater happiness. I will delve further into this topic. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful day.